Introduce our speaker today. And our speaker is Vidushi Swanubhuti Jain. Swanubhuti is a postgraduate and Jain Darshan Shastri with specialization in Jain philosophy and logic. She is an established speaker on Jain spiritualism with various engagements at local, national, and international level. I think she has spoken at China conference in 2013 also. She has taught at Department of Genealogy at Mumbai University for over 8 years. That was part-time. She has organized seminars and workshops across India for youth on relevance of Jainism in practical life. So talking about practical life, she also runs a Paramagam honors course, which is practicaljainism.com. And basically it's a 5-year course, almost like a degree course, but it does teach Jainism with the practical approach. She is an avid reader and speaker on practical spiritualism. So over to you, Swanubhuti ji. Welcome.
Thank you, Prabhaji, for the kind introduction. I would like to begin with the subject, spirituality versus minimalism. मैं कौन हूँ आया कहाँ से और मेरा रूप क्या संबंध दुखमय कौन है स्वीकृत करूं परिहार क्या. The presentation given by Pragya was absolutely excellent. I think she could have spoken for the entire hour and done a good job already. She's covered everything that the topic had to offer. So I see a lot of potential in this girl, and I'm really proud of you the way you have researched about the subject and spoken about it. I think the presentation was excellent. No other words for it. Coming to the topic, and as I've been introduced about practical Jainism as well. I would like to focus on the practical aspect of the theory that we just understood. So, of course, something to do with spiritualism. Let's begin with the meaning of the word spiritualism. Spiritualism, something that is related to the spirit, isn't it? What is a spirit? A soul. Which spirit are we talking about? Which soul? Who is this soul that we are talking about? Some ultimate consciousness? Some, like absolute, God, great power that we are talking about? Yeah, we are talking about some absolute great power. Yeah, we are talking about a God. Just the difference is, while this is absolute, while this is God, but this is what I am. No, we are not talking about that God. We're talking about this God that I am. And every spirit, every soul has that God, the potential to be a manifested God in itself, provided they realize it. Now, talking about spirit or talking about the soul, it's very, very important to understand what is this existence of the soul. Of course, when you're talking about it, means it does exist. Point number one, the first debate in this entire world and the materialistic world that we are talking about is whether the soul exists, independent of the body, independent of the world that we see. So let's look at and address this issue first. That what is this soul? Who is this soul that we are talking about? So there is an entity which I can't see. There is an entity which I can't feel with the senses that I have on me. I actually even cannot experience the consciousness of other souls. Isn't it? So Bhupendra Bhai, I can see you right now. I can see this body which is made up of senses right now. But I can't experience what you're experiencing, isn't it? So it definitely defines one aspect, that your consciousness is completely separate or different than my consciousness. We are not related. Our emotions, our feelings, our understanding are not related. Given the same situation, I may feel differently. The same rain can have different effects on different people, isn't it? Different reactions. Somebody is loving it. Somebody says it's bad weather. Somebody is happier and somebody is sad. So my emotions, my feelings, my perspectives, my comprehension, everything is so different. Actually, Bhupendra Bhai, I don't see your soul. I only infer. It's inference, isn't it? Because I know that when I am happier and I smile, and when I see you smiling, I infer that you must be happier too. Something inside you must be happier too. I cry when I'm sad within. So I infer that if you have tears or your face is frowning or you're not looking, the way a smiling person does, it means there's some disturbance in the soul which is within you. It is inference. So let's establish one fact, one universal fact, and we are logically deriving it. We are not believing in anybody's words here. We are not believing into things because somebody is saying that. We are actually seeing through our own experience, day-to-day life, that every consciousness is independent of another one. And we are all conscious beings. Not only Bhupendra Bhai, you and me, huh? I mean, even talk about a dog, a cat, a cow, a buffalo, a tiger, a lion, everybody, all of these. At least I will talk about those animals as of now whose expressions I can comprehend. Even they have something within them, that laughs and cries. Yeah, they don't talk like we do. They don't express like we do. But we know for sure that they do have that consciousness that I have. Right? Yeah, I cannot see the consciousness of an ant, of a mosquito. I can't see their face. I can't see their emotions. I don't know when they're smiling or they're sad. But they react. They react unlike a fan, unlike a computer, unlike so many other inanimate things. So we definitely know for sure, and we can infer 100%. I don't need a scientist to come and tell me that this ant lives or doesn't live, has consciousness or doesn't have consciousness. Now, the bigger question here is that if we all are conscious beings, is this consciousness transferable in different body types? And why is this very, very necessary to understand? It's very, very important to understand because most of the human beings, even who believe in afterlife, who believe in consciousness, believe inevitably that human beings will be reborn as only and only human beings again. They don't think that human beings can be reborn as a plant. A human being can be reborn as an ant. You imagine yourself being born as a pig or a donkey? Ever, ever, ever? Even in the wildest of your imaginations? No, we don't. Because we feel that human beings will be only reborn as human beings. But that's not the fact again. And why are we even talking about this? Because maybe a few of you would say that we are evolved Jains and we do believe in this. Why are you revisiting this basic fact? Because this is very elementary to the understanding of where we are leading to. No, we know this. We definitely have heard about this. But knowledge is incomplete without faith. We actually don't believe that this is the fact. If we really, really believed, our life would already be minimalistic. And I'm going to prove it very, very logically. So first, let's establish this fact that I and my existence is a floating existence. And why I call this floating right now here is because I migrate. I migrate from one body to another body to another one, another body to another one. Do we feel like that when we are in this body, that I am a guest here? Do we feel that I am here for a very short while? Okay, let's look at an example which is given in the Shastra called Ishtopdesh, which is written by Pujyapad Swami. They say that the souls are like birds of different feathers who are each following their own journeys. These birds who migrate, they migrate from one region to another region, maybe from north to south. And some of them would be migrating from south to north, east to west, and west to east. They are each following their own journeys, their own sweet, different journeys. Now, these birds of different feathers, you would actually see that intersect at some point. And they take rest during the night. They go to sleep, isn't it? So what the birds would do is, they're each following their different journeys. Nobody knows anybody. But on a certain night, there's a nice huge tree. That is the intersection of their paths. And they happen to take, rest there for the night. Prabhaji, would you want to spotlight my video?
It is spotlighted.
Is it?
Yes.
Because it is showing different to me. Okay, no worries.
Okay, it must be your setting. Change it to speaker.
Okay, no worries. No, even in my speaker view, it is not showing as spotlighted. Okay.
No, we see you only.
Okay, then, okay, no worries. Okay, so coming back to these birds of different feathers, following their own journeys, resting for the night. So how much luggage do they carry? Okay, how much hand baggage do they carry? Huh? No, I'm sure we must have seen some of these birds. No? They absolutely go without any baggage. Why is a luggage or a baggage called a baggage? Do you know that? Because it's a burden on your shoulders. When you need to undertake long journeys, how would you prefer to travel? When you know you are in a journey, when you know you are traveling, you book an itinerary where you're going to spend one night each in a different city, in a different hotel. And you will be on your own, like a backpack trip. How much, of possessions would you want to really, really carry? Let's talk very, very practically about it, huh? The birds, now I'm giving you a scenario, are on the tree. And have you ever seen the birds actually collecting twigs and leaves and building nests during the night? What do they actually do? Are they busy, picking up fights with the fellow birds who are taking rest on the same tree? Okay, do the birds really, really bother that I would only perch on a tree which has other birds who look similar to me, who have the same skin type or the skin color? Does it make a difference to the birds who are spending the night on the tree, knowing very well that the next morning they will all fly in their own respective directions and will never, never see each other ever, ever again? Forget the birds, even talk about human beings. Like in cities, you have a lot of immigrant populations. Either you call them immigrants or you call them migrant workers. Most of these high-paying job, folks, highly skilled jobs these days. Talk about the millennials. Yeah, there was a time where people wanted to make their own house. They wanted to have their own cars. They wanted farmhouses which were in the vicinity of the places where they lived. The trend has completely changed now. You know what is the current trend? The current trend is that people don't buy houses. They rent expensive houses. They prefer houses where the entire furniture is already there because they don't want to buy even a single thing. They don't even buy beds. They rent beds, they rent sofas, they rent cars. Why? Because they want to be free. They don't want any baggage. If tomorrow, they get an opportunity in a city which is 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers, talking about US from East Coast to West Coast, they don't want to be carrying everything because they have owned it. And when you own something, it becomes a baggage. We are smart, isn't it? We are evolving here as a humankind. We think we are evolving as a humankind because we think only the house or only the furniture or only the car was a baggage. Come back to us. Who are we? Who am I? Am I a Pragya Jain? Am I a Kirit Shah? Am I Claudia? Am I Prabhaji? Am I Shantiji? Who am I? Am I Bhupendra? Who am I? That what you see you are currently is your time on the tree. The lighter, the happier we would be. The lighter we travel, Pap has probably more baggage. Punya has maybe a little lesser mass, probably. I don't know. We'll talk about it a little later. But what about the possessions that we are busy accumulating here, the leaves and the twigs and the nests that we are building here? What are they leading to? Where are they taking us? While that bird will never own the nest, even if it builds on the tree, the bird will definitely own the worries, the anxiety through the night. What the bird will leave with next morning, of course, cannot be the nest, cannot be the leaves and twigs, cannot be the tree, definitely. But the bird will leave with the worries and the anxiety and the experience that it had experienced on the tree the entire night with no rest, isn't it? No, birds aren't that stupid, but we are. There's a difference. Birds know how to travel, but we don't. Because what we end up doing here in this world is we are so damn busy with all the things that we accumulate, knowing perfectly well we will not be able to carry. Now, a lot of dimensions to this aspect here again. Do you think all these accumulations that you do come free of cost? No, sometimes I may be, I don't need money to buy everything. Sometimes I may be gifted. Sometimes I inherit. Sometimes there are lesser efforts and more rewards. But do you think that whatever we get here in this world is free? It comes with a lot of anxiety and worry. And I'll tell you how. Even if you're getting something as a reward or as an award or a free thing, are you spending punya for it or not? There are no free lunches. In fact, do you know what, Claudia? You need more punya. You know what is a punya? The good deeds that have earned you some good karmas. You need to spend higher amount of karma to get things free. Okay, do we think that you only are spending karma when you are getting things? Is it a one-time cost? They say when you buy a car, 1/3 of the cost is the cost of the car. Another 1/3 of the cost is the maintenance of the car. And of course, the third 1/3 is the fuel, the cost of the fuel that you're going to, the gas that you're going to spend riding that car. A car is no use if you don't spend all the 1/3, isn't it? If you say, no, I'll buy the car, I won't drive it. How intelligent are we if you buy the car and you don't drive it ever because you don't want to spend on the fuel or the gas? We have a lot of possessions that are like the car that we never use in a lifetime. So many farmhouses, so many rooms. People have multiple vehicles. Okay, forget these bigger things. How many clothes are still in a wardrobe that you have never worn? It was an impulsive buy. How many shoes? How many times have you worn that shoes? Sometimes you will realize you spend more time buying the shoe than wearing them in the lifetime. And they are already broken. And they are old. How many bags do you have which are unused? You spend more time buying it and more money buying it and more time earning the money you bought it for and less time using it. I'm still talking about a few of the things which you have used probably in your lifetime. You remember the dress on your wedding day that you wore, Prabhaji?
I happen to remember, but not everybody does.
Okay. How long did we take buying it? How many hours, how many days, how many weeks you spent planning to buy it? How many hours did you actually end up wearing it?
Just 1 hour. But today they do spend a lot of time.
No, forget that part. Forget buying and wearing it for that one single day for a few hours. I know people who are 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old, and in their wardrobe, they still have that dress kept. And they have been maintaining it. You have it. Amazing. You spend the space. You spend the space. You spend time taking care of it. You have to dry clean it after a certain while. You have to manage it in a nice packing. It doesn't get spoiled. If you have moved houses,
moves with us.
It moves with you. It needs space during your travel. And how many times in a lifetime are you going to ever wear it? And you know what? Forget about this dress, and because at least you wore it for a couple of hours, I will, go back to our Shastra called Kartikeyanu Preksha, written by Kartikeya Swami. And in the Anitya Bhavna, they have mentioned an entirely amazing chapter on the extra things that we keep in this life, our possessions. They say that let's talk about the wealth, because the biggest focus of all the human beings is accumulation of wealth right now, because we feel that's the means to possess everything else that we want, all the materialistic things that we are after. So let's talk about wealth. Say I, hypothetically, am going to live for 75 years. Decent time, I think, overall as such. Now, in the 75 years of age, assuming I'm going to spend say, for example, I'm just taking any random figure, say, for example, 10 crores of rupees, right? Like 100 million rupees, Indian rupees. You can convert into dollars as you wish. $1 million maybe, or maybe 1.5, $1.2 million, whatever. If that's the amount I'm actually going to use in my entire lifetime, there will be definitely a limit to the amount that you use. It cannot be infinite, isn't it? And a little mathematics will lead you to that amount. Do we actually live our lives in such a fashion that we are planning only to earn? Say, for example, if you're going to use $1.5 million in your lifetime, it's okay to keep a contingency of another 1 million or 1.5 million. Decent, okay. I'm not even challenging that. $3 million is more than enough. I have already estimated double of what I'm going to use. Beyond $3 million, do you hang up your boots and say, okay, I am done on this task. Now I'm financially free. And now let me focus on the higher realms or higher realities of life, higher facts. Let me now, I am going to travel in a flight, which is going to be a 10-hour flight. So let me, suffice myself for the 10-hour flight. And now I have spare time. Now let me plan for not the next 10 hours, but the journey beyond. My destination is not the flight and the 10 hours I am traveling. Yeah, I need to take care of those 10 hours. That's where minimalism sets in. Do bare minimum. I'm not saying give up everything. I'm not saying do nothing as of now. Why? Because I am talking about the householders. I'm talking about the beginners, the stage where we are. We are not talking, of course, there's a lot of world beyond. We will come to that a little later. But talking about, very, very practically, you just don't plan for the 10 hours of the flight. You plan for the entire journey. This is just a stepping stone. So your stepping stone in this human life shouldn't be the amount that you need, the fuel, the energy that you need to lead this life peacefully. And then you must hang your boots and focus on the other more important aspects. And what actually really happens? What is the fact? And what is our fact? If somebody were to tell me that, I have won, $1 million profit in my business, it gives me more goosebumps and pleasure and happiness, which is all fake, which is all very short-lived. What if I win this $1 million today in business and I realize that I have another 3 minutes to live? Who is immortal here? Please raise your hand. No, we are all immortal. Let me tell you that we are immortal, provided that what we believe we are must be the right object. If you think Shantiji Mahnot is immortal, that's not the fact. Claudia, you are not immortal as Claudia, but as the soul you are. I see very, very futile emotions in people when they talk about, I'm an Indian, I'm an American. It will take 5 minutes for you to change your nationality. And I'll tell you how. Isn't it possible I die here next moment and I, enter the womb of a mother of another nationality? Next 5 minutes, my nationality would be changed forever. I'm talking about loyalties, India, US, Americans. What India? What American? These are all trees that we are talking about. This is my space. This is your space. Brothers fighting with each other. Father gave me this much. Father gave you that much. This land, that land. These are the boundaries. What boundaries are we talking about? The final focus of our life ideally should be to take care of our basic necessities, maybe a little extra for the contingencies, and move on. And when you actually move on, that is where you will start focusing on the real things that matter to your journey. So a very, very interesting point which Kartikeya Anupreksha says here is that for all the rest of the money, for the rest of the wealth that you earn in this lifetime, what actually are you doing? It's a lose-lose game for you. And how is it a lose-lose game? Point number one, all the extra possessions, to earn them, you had to sin. And this extra sin will definitely lead you to hell. For nothing. I needed $3 million, not more than that anywhere. For the extra 100 million that I earned, how do I pay for it? I pay for it in hell, isn't it? You know, parigraha. How are you punished for the sin of parigraha? Who goes to hell? Bahu arambha parigraha shunarkayushaha, which means that a lot of parigraha, a lot of possessions, and possessions is actually not the external possessions, the outward possessions. Possessions are the greed to possess them. Objects are not possessions. The greed is the possession that you possess. Even Pragya spoke about it. Even she understands this concept. So this greed will take us to hell. Shrewd businessmen talking about, becoming millionaires, talking about, how shrewd we are. See, this is called intelligence. No, this is called mayachari. Where will this shrewdness take you? The shrewdness will earn you that extra 100 million, which is beyond the 3 million you needed, but it is guaranteed ticket. As Gurudev says, that next life you will see yourself as a pilla of a kutta. You'll become a puppy. You will end up with a goat. What? This shrewd businessman of today, what are we doing exactly? This extra possessions, this extra 100 million, we feel that, what's the harm in keeping another 100 million if I have it in me to earn it? You see no harm in something that is taking you to hell or a tiryanch gati. It is taking you to a state of an animal. It is extra sin which you need not have earned at all. It was not needed. So what Kartikeya Swami says is that what do you really do with that money is you become a watchman your entire life of that money. You want to do that? That's what you do. What you're not going to use, that car that you buy but you never drive, that never ride. What do? If you keep that car for another 5 years with you, you were a watchman to the car, isn't it? You were a cleaner to the car. You were maintaining that car. You need to spend on the maintenance of the car irrespective of whether you drive it or not, isn't it? Even when you look at that maintenance book of the car, what it says is that X number of kilometers, 10,000 kilometers or 6 months, whichever is earlier, isn't it? Which means that even if you're not driving your car, even if, you're spending the year with the car, you need to maintain it. You keep a farmhouse. You never go and, even spend a night there. Don't you need to pay the maintenance of the farmhouse? Don't you need to earn to pay that maintenance? What if somebody steals something there? What if somebody is taking unauthorized possession of your place? What if the neighbors have an issue with that place? What if there's a litigation on that place? Are you fighting for it or not? Are you wasting your time and energy and money and pap, earning pap to maintain it? All these extra possessions, they are your real burdens. They are your futile burdens which you never needed to keep. There was no reason to keep them or have them. A very good yardstick to judge what I really need and I don't, what I need to do and don't, could be, just imagine yourself that you have another 100 days to live. No, you may hardly have 100 minutes for the fact, but for the example, I need something, isn't it? Just imagine if I had 100 days to live my life. That's it. Nothing beyond. How would you spend your time now? What would you do? What all do you think you would want to possess? probably our all the decisions would entirely change. We would actually really know what we need and what we don't anymore. Would you still want to spend your time in the next 100 days going in the court to fight with your brother for that piece of land which is under dispute? What do you do? I mean, I feel this a lot of times, not only for, but this example is good. 75-year-old people, 80-year-old people still fighting for things under litigation, for every penny. No, we are no different, let me tell you, because for them, we at least know that, okay, they have maximum a decade on them, probably, at least the active life. I might have lesser than them. The point is that if we really believed that my existence is not the tree, not the nest, not the body I am currently occupying, my existence is from eternity, since eternity. That's what I am. And what we really carry from one life to another life is not the body, is not the possessions, is not the thing, the materialistic world that you see around you. Now, level 1, so this is not the level 2, level 1 beyond this, at least there is something more than this physical possession is, if I could say, is the karma which moves from one body to another body, which moves with the soul. So even if we are in a junior KG, we are, in the class 1 here, grade 1, the first thing that we need to do is shift our focus from the external possessions to at least the punya path and see what are we carrying and what we are not. When you fed the hungry stomach, maybe you lost a few dollars which you spent in buying that food, but you earned the punya. And if you were to die in another 100 days, you will not carry that money or the food, but you will carry your karmas, isn't it? So even if we start calculating our deeds, our life, with the karmas that we are doing, with the experiences, are the worries worth it? Are the possessions which are giving you those worries worth it? People say, I got this cheap. It was a great deal. It just took a little bit of more efforts and time. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? So level 1, we will look at, looking at minimal things that can maintain this life, and whatever is excess. What do they do at the airport when you have excess baggage? What do they do at the airport when you have excess baggage and you don't want to pay for it? Either you better pay for it, which is a big price. So which you are paying currently. We all end up paying that big price for something that we never needed in the entire journey. Or throw it. Declutter yourself. Declutter yourself. So when you're decluttering yourself, you're not decluttering the possessions. You're decluttering the worries. And you know what? Okay, I'll ask you a question. Who do you think is happier? A man who has 50 wives or a man who has one wife? Interesting question, isn't it? Huh? Who do you think is happier? Oh, 50 wives seems like, oh, he has more. He has more? Yeah. You know how wives are, don't you? You know what kind of jealousy, what kind of competition, what kind of, all the baggage that comes with even 2 wives, forget 50. A man with 50 wives means he has no me time. Even if he were to visit one wife a day, he will only be able to visit each wife 7 times in a year. Can you just imagine? How about a man with no wife, Pragya? Who has more time for himself? Who has more me time?
Man with no wife.
The man with no wife. The person with more possessions has less for himself because you're so busy maintaining so many things around you. You have no time to attend to yourself. Give time to yourself. Experience yourself. See what you have got for yourself. Okay, one very basic concept that consciousness, you can't see, you can feel. We spoke about it. Can you see joy? Can you see happiness? You can only feel it. Because feeling or happiness is invisible. Bliss is invisible. How can visible possessions give invisible happiness or joy? Isn't it irrelevant? Completely irrelevant? But yeah, invisible happiness can be derived from the invisible soul, which owns that happiness, from the invisible consciousness that can lead you to happiness. So we believe that visible possessions will give us happiness is a wrong concept in itself in the first place, isn't it? My existence is invisible and only I can feel it. My joy is invisible and I decide whether I want to be happy or I want to be sad. So we are what we feel, what we believe in, and how we see things. We are not what is outside, we are what we are within. So the sum and substance of this subject should be, it's only one thing that you need to do and multiple names. Today is Uttam Akinchanya Dharma. We had Uttam Tyag before this. We had Uttam Tap before this. You're talking about renunciation. You're talking about keeping minimal things in Uttam Akinchanya, keeping nothing rather. And people who have nothing, our saints, our sadhus who have nothing are the happiest of us all. Because they have all the time for themselves, for their own happiness, for their own bliss. And in fact, that's the reason they have given up everything else in the world. So to look at this entire scenario, point number one, we should be loyal towards our eternal existence. Do things which are for myself. Even the karmas actually are momentary. Even the karmas are not permanent, as we know. Because they may transgress through a few lives, but not since eternity till eternity. The real me, the real timeless me is what we should be working towards. That is what we actually possess. That is actually what we are ignoring every moment. On the second level, till you don't reach there, the materialistic world doesn't count. You never possessed it. It was never yours. It was only your belief that it was yours. It was only the concern, the worry that was yours. To let go of that worry and the concern is the first step that we can take towards minimalism and towards spirituality. Minimalism can be the first step towards spirituality. Spirituality is much beyond minimalism. And we need to understand that because we know that's what we are. Thank you so much. I'm open to questions, if any.
Thank you very much, Vidushi Swanubhuti Ji. The way we have this set up, first we ask the audience the questions and then they will have an opportunity to discuss and ask you questions.
Sure.
So audience, as we always ask, while you're answering these questions, please try to keep your videos on. It will be better if we can see who is answering. And if your video is not on, please just say your name and answer the question. Thank you. Okay, so our first question. What is spirituality? We covered two things today.
Journey towards yourself.
Yes. Yeah, if you say your name and answer and your video is on, I can also turn on the spotlight to you.
Open the camera.
Yes. And can you repeat your answer, please?
Journey towards yourself.
Journey towards yourself. Very good. Is that completely correct, Swanubhuti ji?
No.
Let other people also maybe
Yeah,
comment
can
if they
anybody
already have.
else remember something more or different?
Hello.
Harak,
Yes, is it Harak Bhai? Yeah, just say your name. So
Harak Maru.
Yes.
You are spirit and working toward your pure soul or toward your spirit is the spirituality.
Okay.
My name
That's
is
great.
Aditya
Anyone
Shah.
else?
My name is Aditya Shah, and for me, spirituality is that path that you go on in order to attain moksha.
Okay, very good. So most people think it's the path. Am I getting that correct?
So my existence itself and the belief in that existence. So the knowledge, belief, and conduct, of course, is the path. But of course, that is the way we explain it. Ideally, spirituality is just being yourself, the way you are, which is the timeless being, the eternal being.
So she talked about we are
Does
permanent.
that mean we are
right?
talking about dharma then?
What is dharma? Do you know that?
It's the nature of true self. And if you're saying spirituality is that, then that makes that one equal to that one. I may have misunderstood also.
So dharma is the nature of the soul, and the nature of the soul is in being what it actually is. So frankly speaking, I mean, of course, it's a longer subject, but see, there's nothing that you need to do. You just need to get rid of the unwanted, you can say vikar, or the unwanted dispositions that we have of attachment and aversion. So what we are is what we are already, which is in pure consciousness. What you are is what is timeless. What you are is what is never born and what never ends. The dispositions are born and they also end, isn't it? They are momentary. That is not what you are. So spirituality ideally would be understanding what you are, believing in what you are, and just being in that self.
So Hemal, I know you're confused between dharma and spirituality. So see, dharma is nature of all substances. So if you were to understand matter, right, in physics, how we understand matter, that is dharma of that matter. Nature of any substance is dharma. Spirituality is only the nature of the soul. And for us to know who we are and be in it. Do you understand the difference now? Got it? Okay. All right, we'll go to the second question. What is minimalism?
Living life with minimum amenities.
Can you repeat that? Your voice is not coming completely clear. Is it
Living life with minimum amenities.
okay? With minimum, right? Okay. So yeah, so it's about like, it's basically the concept of having less is more, because the less things you have, the more peace of mind you will have. Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, Swanubhuti ji. And what is the connection between spirituality and minimalism? And this is an important question. Like, we need to understand this concept. That's what this whole lecture was about.
Soul doesn't possess anything. So if you're going to be yourself, understand yourself, believe in yourself, you will go naturally towards minimalism. And the more close you are to the soul, the less you will possess. That's the
Okay,
natural
that's
progression.
absolutely correct. Once we understand the true spirituality, we will naturally go towards minimalism, or at least the attachment of it. So even if we had things because of our Uday of Punya Karma, we will still not be attached to it. So good. Thank you very much. All right. The next question is, can you share 3 core learnings from this entire session?
What are core learnings?
What are core learnings? Okay, core learnings is the things that you liked, that you learned from this session.
Main things you learn.
Main things, I mean, there might be so many more things, so many things that you learn, but the 3 main ones that were important to you. Do you want to answer, Pragya? You can answer just one, and others can answer their own other ones.
I can say that.
Okay. Name. If you say name, it'll be easier for me.
Nina
Yeah,
Mani.
Nina ji. Yes.
What is the fact that my existence is floating existence? So the souls are birds, like each feather who follows their own journey. So that's the way. Plan your journey, follow your own journey, and move on. That's what I
Okay,
can.
very good. So that was your takeaway from this session.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else would like to share?
I like to mention something here. I picked up a lot of good things in this lecture.
Okay.
Get rid of the garbage, get rid of the baggage, minimize your needs, minimize, like if you can live with a less, then why add more thing? And that gives you time for meditation, study, swadhyay, another thing. But if you have too much stuff, you worry about that all the time.
Very true.
Okay, that's very good. That's very
This is
good.
Hemal. I wanted to second Shanti Bhai because it was my biggest takeaway from this. I think we are spending a lot of time and energy on unnecessary activities, and focus is getting on unnecessary items, and we need to redirect our energy, time, and focus to the work of our for our spiritual journey. I divert that, use that and put it in this direction instead, because this is Manushya Bhav. So I think in some other lecture we heard we have only 2000 years of a Manushya Bhav, and after that we go to somewhere else, which I don't remember where, but we are not in the state where we could attain or even get close to.
We won't be able to make those decisions even. At least now we can make a decision to do these things. All right. Very good. Very good.
Prabha, can I make a comment? Hemal, don't give that specific number 2000 years. It's 2000 sagar for a thrust paryay. So don't say specific, but you get the spirit. We have limited time to have mind and other 5 sense organs. Very good.
Okay. We'll go to the next question. Did we get covered all of them, Swanubhuti ji? Otherwise, we can keep asking if you think they all got the 3 core learnings.
I think it's okay. You can take a call basis the time.
Okay. What are main flaws in additional possessions?
This is Kirit Shah here. Is more worries.
Yes, that's one of them. There's actually a lot of disadvantages. So I'm sure you all can
More
come up with a lot of
maintenance.
more maintenance. Very good.
And then
more karmas also.
your mind deviates from the real, objects of life.
Gina Shah, do you want to say something? It can relate to your interest also. How does minimalism help?
Because possession. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I think minimalism is, there's both an internal and an external benefit. And internal is, as we've been talking about, it's attuning to who we really are and living in accordance with our experience of soul, or aspirations to experience the soul. And then externally, if we minimize our possessions, it's also enabling us to live lighter on the earth. The more we accumulate, the more hinsa we commit, the more it contributes to other beings suffering and climate change. So I think there's both aspects to it.
So one
Yes.
point occurred to me on this point, and you must have seen, looking at the age group, a lot of kids playing a lot of games these days. And there are two core principles for any game to run. One is that, of course, there's a journey in the game. You will have challenges. Some will be fake challenges, and some will be distractions. These two are built so that they keep you too busy in the game, and the game continues and you keep playing it. So similarly in our life, there are distractions. Ideally, you should identify the distraction, spot on, and not be taken away by it. And our life is also full of challenges. And these challenges, many of them are fake challenges. So we fight for a lot of things. You don't need to pick each of the fight and win each of the fight, isn't it? Every race is not supposed to be won. You decide which race do you really want to win and only run there. So we should be able to identify these challenges or these distractions which our lives are full of. You go in a mall, is it important to feel and see things like, should I own this as well? Or is it more important to actually, feel, can I do without anything at all? Do I need to even go to the mall today? Because usually we think the other way around. We think, oh, he's giving, 3 on 2. So you feel, okay, I can do with 4. I will give the other 2 to somebody. Rather, if I don't buy the first 2, do you need to even enter the store? It's a paradigm shift. It's a mindset shift. But that's what needs to be done, because these are distractions and a lot of challenges. Again, we need to identify them to be able to save a time for them. Okay, over to you, Prabha.
Yeah, so like Gina was mentioning, a lot of us are also concerned with the environment, global climate shift, and a lot of these things. And I think minimalism will definitely help a lot of that. I think each one of us right now have possessions that 10 people should have. I mean, we are one person is hoarding things that 10 or 15 people should have. So if we all could hoard less, we would do the environment a lot of justice. We will not have as many landfills. We will not have the global warming, and we will save the earth and our future generations. So following this lifestyle will definitely, of course, help in a lot of ways, but a word of caution that only minimalism is not going to get you to your soul. So it will help, but not enough.
Yeah, and the possession, Nina,
yes,
possession is not only for the things possession, is possessions are a greed to possess the things. So the greed, the great possession will lead us toward Tiryanj Gati. That's what also very important.
Okay, and the other point I remember, which actually I just did today, I went to a conference and picked up some free t-shirt and socks. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, I used up some of my punya karmas today.
That's a good one.
I wasn't thinking about it when I was picking up those free items, but too bad. So
this is Hemal. And yes. I think one of the things this gives me to do is reflect on why do I go and buy something, or get something into the house. And I frequently end up with the answer, I'm bored with what I have, so I want to get something else. And I think if we can answer that and solve that, we didn't have that before. I mean, my parents never said, let's go buy something because we are bored today. That was never the premise of it. But I think it's the environment and the society and the community we live in, and the thought of the current flow in the society is, oh, I'm bored, I need to change this, it's been a year, I had my phone for 1 whole year, I need a new Samsung,
Next so time think you're using up that punya karma that you could save for something else.
Prabhaben, I'm going to remember your socks and t-shirts and do that.
Yes, I'm now feeling very guilty. Anyway, So why are possessions irrelevant and non-contextual to our happiness?
Repeat the question, please.
Why are possessions irrelevant
Oh, yeah.
and non-contextual to our happiness?
She explained, can I answer?
Yes.
She explained that how can happiness is a part of living beings. So that's invisible. So how can invisible component come from visible component? So possessions are Pudgal, and Pudgal is what's, we perceive through our sense organs. So that's a beyond sense organ, Atindriya.
That's, yes, spot on. So that was good answer. And if I may add, possessions are also irrelevant in terms of giving me happiness, because the happiness never came from the possessions in the first place. It came from within my soul. So I already had the happiness. Why do I need possessions to be happy?
Hi, this is Sunita. The one piece that I just wanted to also add, when we think about minimalism, we live in a scenario right now where we can't just physically give up everything we have. So for me, it seems the important part is detach from what you have. And once, that bhav comes in you, I think that the minimalistic concept starts from inside. And then as you're able to, then physically detach from your parigraha. So it's almost that internal bhav has to come first.
Which is very true, Sunita, but let me tell you from experience, that is not enough. I am experiencing that right now. I already have the detached bhav, at least I think so. But then when some problems arises in a rental property I have, I realize, oh my God, what a baggage this is. Yeah. Even though I'm not attached, but I'm forced to take care of it, whether I like it or not.
Right. Right.
So, well, there is truth in everybody's point of view, and the true parigraha comes with the inside non-possessiveness, murcha, control of murcha. So that is also true. But how do you find out? You keep on having more things. So aparigraha, first thing you say is, I need to limit my external possessions to a certain, whatever it is that you're comfortable with, and say, I don't need any more than this. If we do that, at least we are going in the right spirit. Otherwise, if we say, well, we are not attached, then why we keep on getting more and more?
Yeah, this is Gina again. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I was at a convention of, it was a conference on Jainism and ecology. And there was a speaker who said, we Jains know how to have a lot of things, but not be attached. Therefore, we're practicing aparigraha, even though we have so many things. And I thought, oh, nice rationalization. Is this really true? I mean, I think this is what you have to ask yourself. I have to ask myself, is this really true, right? And I also thought, Swanubhuti Ji's description about non-living cannot cause joy in living addressed a common trend to follow this author called Marie Kondo. She says, pick up every item and discard it if it doesn't spark joy. But it's so true that, and it's not the item that's sparking joy. Like you said, that's kind of the wrong way of thinking about it. It is yourself. You are the one that's sparking joy. And so that's not necessary. I mean, it's good to declutter for many reasons, but that's not necessarily the right way to decide what to get rid of.
Right. Hey, Gina, if you're able to turn your video on, that'll be great. Yes, you're correct. And the name is Swanubhuti, and I'll tell you what it means. It means to experience You're personally swa, your own soul. That's what her name means.
This is Ami. I just wanted to add, at one of the conferences, one of the Jain, I think it was a YJ conference or YJP conference, one of the speakers said, every time you buy something, you want to ask yourself, do you want it or do you need it? And that helps you start thinking about the minimalistic lifestyle. It's a first step. There are many steps after that, but just asking yourself that question really helps.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I mean, all these things, there's got to be some starting point. And then you develop, once you have the correct understanding, it'll naturally come to you. So, all right, we'll
add one point here that in a lot of things, if we build discipline, it can, get rid of a lot of worries. For example, I know this person who is like the owner of almost a 500 crore business empire here in India. And, the way he has managed his wardrobe is he has the same 5 shirts for the 5 days of the week that he wears every week. Every Monday, he will wear the same shirt, exactly same shirt. That shirt would be very expensive, that's okay, but the same shirt on every Monday. And if that shirt is old and he needs to discard it, he will buy the same brand, same color, same shirt again and refill that place. Now, I'm just talking about how you are living concern-free. Women, even if they have a lot of time, and I'm talking about women here because typically it happens with them with the variety of clothes that you have. Even if they have 250 clothes in the wardrobe, they'll say, I have nothing to wear. This man has 5 shirts, which he's been wearing for the last 20 years. And every Monday, he does not need to think twice. He's just picking up the same shirt and where his wife does not need to bother. Every 5th day, he finds it in the same place. So a lot of things, if we build this kind of, simplicity in our lives, this kind of discipline, a lot of worries. Not even if he's in the mall, he's not eyeing those so many shirts. He's not wasting his time on looking at them. This is the achievement, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's not looking at other people. What are they wearing? Should I buy this one? Which brand is it? He knows this. These are the 5 shirts I'm going to wear. And his mind is cleaned of all the shirts in the world now. This is what minimalism gets.
That reminds me, if I'm vegan and Jain, so when I go to restaurants, I usually have like maybe 2 or 3 things to pick from. But that actually makes me happy. The less choices you have, how easy it is to decide and less stress on you compared to if I had to choose from those 30 items on the menu.
But sometimes it creates ego also. Sometimes, I don't know, I feel like, why to have that agra that the same color and same thing I want on the same day?
It is not about the agraha of having the same color on the same day. It is more about his mind is no longer occupied with the decision of which clothes to wear.
Anxiety come hai.
It should be sahaj.
On Monday, he doesn't have to think, do I need the yellow or the green or the blue? He knows it's the blue day.
We spend a lot of our attention.
I would like to add, like Steve Jobs also had
time.
I have seen people like who choose like we are going to wear only white color, but in white also they have so much for the maintenance and so much detail the way they take care of all the white kapda. And like sometimes you feel like you lose your sahaj.
This is the first step that we are saying. This is not the last step. The last step is in our sadhu who own absolutely nothing. So that's where we want to finally be, definitely. So this is not comparing to the better of things. These are comparing to where we are coming from right now. You can go beyond, of course. Why not? You keep only 3 clothes, wear any cloth any day, whichever comes in your hand. Does not make a difference. But keep 3. Keep 3. That's the important part here.
Yeah, not 300.
Was Anita somebody was trying to say something?
Yeah, Prabhaji, I was saying Steve Jobs also was like that, right? He had, everything was black and he had jeans. He didn't have to think what he's going to wear.
Okay, I wasn't aware. That's something to know. Now
And
I'll have to notice in his movies.
no,
He
he's no more. Yeah, but then yeah, he had that. And also there is some project going on in US that is called Project 333, where
Okay.
they are trying to minimize things. Like, you can have only 33 in your wardrobe and for 3 months. So that is 333 project. So everybody's trying to go minimalism. So that's nice,
Okay,
Jains,
great.
and we know about it from beginning.
I can think about that one maybe. 33 for 3 months. Okay.
Can I make a comment? Gina, your Swanubhuti Ji, I'm talking to you. You heard Gina say things about whatever she was saying. She is an activist in relation to ecology, environment, and Jainism. So being a vegan and all the other stuff. So, a lot of us Jains, this first point about parigraha having less is one thing, but there is further more to think, like how it impacts, the earth, Mother Earth, or environment around us. So there is that additional point of view that's not necessarily directly first-hand involved with soul experience, but they're all connected in some fashion. Do you have any comments?
Sorry, I would just like to say that it's easier when you're in your soul to not feel like you're giving something up, right? It's connected. If you're really in your soul, it's not like, oh, I'm giving up something important. Because if you really understand, this is what I got from your lecture, and I really resonate with that. If we really lived as if we believed it, we would live very differently, and you get the benefits of climate without feeling like I'm giving up something important, because you realize what's really important. I'll stop talking now.
No, that's good. It's okay to share, Gina. That's fine. So yeah, I mean, actually, I would like all of you to get this point. Is which direction? I mean, one direction is, you give up for ecology and all this. The other one is if you go inward soul, everything else automatically happens.
Right. The second part is the one that I prefer. I've been a vegan 25 years, but that's not a big deal to me. I mean, I realized drinking milk is absolutely violent. There is no non-violent process to get cow's milk. So in America where we live, or even in India. So I decided milk is not for me, but that's not Jainism. Jainism is going in the soul. So while that is a part of it, but that is not going to guarantee me my soul experience. So that's a necessity, but this is necessary, but not sufficient. So I look for the soul experience. That's my goal. Swanubhuti is my goal.
All right. Okay. So
Do I
let's
make
go to
sense,
the last.
Swanubhuti ji? We want the speaker to comment.
No, I absolutely agree on this fact. So you talk about ahimsa, you talk about aparigraha, you talk about anekantvad. All of these, what will make an individual happy will make the world happier. What is good for the soul is good for the world, because the world is made up of souls. It's not because we want to make the world a happier place, hence I want to be happy. It's that when you are happy, when each individual is happy, that's what the world is, isn't it? So all of these principles that we are talking about, A to Z, and Bhagwan Mahavir, he was a self-enlightened soul. And when he, took the vow of, when he became a sadhu, he did not speak at all. All the Tirthankar, when they become sadhus, they take a Ajivan Maun Vrat, which means that they never speak, they don't utter a single word, and they work on themselves. And when the Keval Gyan happens, and they become Tirthankar, the Gyan, the Divyadhwani, it emanates from all the particles of their body automatically. And that's what does the entire, you can say, Kalyan, Lok Kalyan, which means that's what uplifts the entire world. So he did not go out to teach every single individual. He did not talk. But when he worked on himself, they say, charity begins at home. They say, be the change you want to see. We want to see the change. We don't want to be peaceful ourselves, but we want to see a peaceful world. We want to be angry in our own houses. We want to shout at our kids. We want to fight with our husband. And then we say we want world peace. If there's no peace in your house, the flower has the smell first, and then the smell is given out to everybody else. Do we have that smell of peace within ourselves? We don't. And we talk about, making the entire world a very fragrant place. It doesn't work that way. So the path to the world, you can say upliftment is also through the soul upliftment. That's how we should be working about. So I absolutely agree with you, Shantiji. Good and the right point touched upon.
Thank you. So let's go to the last question. How do you decide to change now onwards, having understood this? Share one resolution you have made today. And I already saw one resolution on the chat from Claudia. She says, okay with letting the t-shirt go. Don't think I can give up the books. Of course, we said, Claudia, it has to happen slowly, one by one. It's not going to all happen at once. But if Swanubhuti ji wants to add something to it, eventually, of course, even the books will go. But for now, because books have much larger purpose, I don't think I would worry about having to let those go.
No, so there's a logical, sequence in which you let go of things. Even a sadhu is allowed to keep books, who does not even wear clothes, but they can keep the books. So, and of course, when you say books, it doesn't mean a library. The sadhu wouldn't own a library, but you will keep the necessary ones, and they make their own, summarized versions. But yeah, we are householders. So of course, that's you don't need to confine on the books. Yeah, but you need to confine on what kind of books. What is it? Fiction? Is it leading to violence? Is it, inculcating more detachment, or, inculcating and saying that greed is good and you must go for it. So the collection will definitely make a difference.
But any soul uplifting books should go last, I would say. You still can possess.
I think that's what Claudia is talking about.
Yeah.
Because she studies a lot.
So even a sadhu is allowed to keep.
Yes.
So, that's not something that should go, as your target to renounce. Yeah.
So very good, Claudia. And I'm sure all of us can think about something. So, go ahead and share your thoughts. What do you think? Where would you start after understanding this lecture of today?
Yeah, this is Kirit Shah here. I think what we should do is take inventory what we have and make sure it don't increase but get less eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good one. At least stop shopping and, then try to reduce what you have.
Try the goal is reduce the inventory what we have. Live with the minimum things.
Okay, very good.
And we have to ask ourselves inside, do I really feel I derive pleasure from things? Do I have possessiveness? Murcha. Then only we can, only each one of us have to ask our own questions and answer ourselves. Am I right, Swanubhuti ji?
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Okay, anybody else wants to share? We are coming close to
Swanubhuti did a wonderful job. That's what I can say.
Excellent job.
Very excellent.
Very good.
Very nice.
And by the way, Swanubhuti ji, we have inspired Harak Bhai to join Parmagam. He's also a student of Parmagam.
Welcome.
Also the Hemal Ben, Prabha, Hemal Ben.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Hemal, I think, had to go.
He joined last 10 days. This last.
Okay, this is a good one. Okay, so Pragya, or is it his mom, is saying, I would like to get rid of my negative thoughts. I don't need them anymore.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Excellent.
So yes, that's a good one to think about. And yes, Himal, the one who was asking, she has also joined Parmagam.
Because what we are, what we feel, believe, and how we think. That's the good one.
Mhm. Very good. Pramod Jakanawar, we have not heard you speak yet. If you would like to share something, you're welcome to.
This is Anuradha. Actually, that is my husband.
Okay,
I
no problem.
attend this. That was a good talk. Actually, I have got very young child, so he makes noise all the time. So I'll be quiet.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll tolerate that once and for a little bit if you want to answer some
Good
questions.
talk today's, and I thanks for this. This Lakshana, whatever you are doing, this it is a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, I request just put some comments in the chat box that Prabhaji can take to the Jaina board, and tell them that people are getting something out of it, and if it's worth repeating or continuing or whatever you like, if it's beneficial to you to go on further in the future.
Yes, that is true. We got some very good positive feedback from the first 7 days Priyadarshanaji's lecture. Based on that, we decided to continue these 10 more days. And I know in the past, people have requested to do this weekly, monthly, that type of thing. But, so we will do that, but depending on your feedback. 1 second, Surendra Sa, yes. Now you can unmute. 1 second. Are you able to unmute now? Yes, go ahead.
My realization that if I buy one shirt, I want to remove one shirt from my wardrobe.
Very good. Very good. I don't know how I lost Swanubhuti Ji. Either she...
No, my iPad had conked off. I am back.
Oh, okay. I thought, did I do something?
No.
Okay. All right.
This is Ami. I wanted to add, this was a really good session. I really appreciate that during the session, we talked about some real life examples, because I think it helps relate it back to the theory part of it.
Yes.
It's theory is great, but it's really hard to put it in action in real life until we discuss some real life examples.
Okay. Can you say your name? I don't recognize everybody's voices. So
this is Ami. I'm talking from Vinay. This is Ami Doshi.
Ami. Okay. All right, Ami. Thank you for your comment. If you can put it in the chat, that'll be great.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll try.
And okay, wonderful. Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll call it a day.
How many more sessions are left? Announce about.
Yeah, we have 3 more sessions left. The last one is on Monday. And it's a different speaker every time. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be Priyadarshanaji again, or maybe Kirit Gosalia. I think we're switching those. And then Priyadarshanaji and one more by Shanti Manor the last day. So yes, please attend these sessions and do provide your comments so we understand which direction to go to. So let's close it. Swanubhuti Ji, if you want to do a small prayer, then we usually ask the senior members to do Chattari Mangalam.
Okay. Sahajanandi Shodha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup Sahajanandi Shodha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup Sahajanandi Shodha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup.
All right. Would anybody like to volunteer for Chattari Mangalam?
I can do it, Kirit.
Kirit bhai, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Kirit bhai.
Chattari Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, केवलीपनन्तो धम्मो मङ्गलम् चत्तारि लोगुत्तमा अरिहन्ता लोगुत्तमा सिद्धा लोगुत्तमा साहु लोगुत्तमा केवलीपनन्तो धम्मो लोगुत्तमो चत्तारि शरणं पवज्जामि अर्हन्ते शरणं पवज्जामि सिद्धे शरणं पवज्जामि साहु शरणं पवज्जामि केवलीपन्तं धम्मं शरणं पवज्जामि.
Jai Jinendra to everybody.
Jai Jinendra.
Thank you
Jai.
very much, Kirit Bhai.
Jai
All
Jai.
right, Jay. So we'll
Jai
see you
Jai.
again tomorrow, and please join early so you don't miss the junior presentations. If you try to join 5 or 10 minutes early, we would